Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1. It is going to be a Terran versus a Protoss and it's going down on Aklon Wastes between two exceptionally good players. So spawning up in the top left position as the blue Terran player representing Madals, it's LucifroN. And his opponent down in the bottom right, it is the red Protoss from my insanity, none other than Stardust. So, PvT, Aklon Wastes, big map, lots of cool things going on here. Got, of course, the nice natural, all down. Quite a big ramp into there, the rocks leading into a potential third base, the other potential third base up to the top, all good round there. The two watchtowers, no more longer any watchtowers in the middle, that was OP. And, of course, this ravine in the middle, which means there's two distinct attack paths the players can try and waddle their way through. And I say waddle their way through because that just seems like the funnest way of moving across the map, waddling. It's why penguins always seem so happy. Penguins seem happy. Like, if penguins do seem pretty happy, right? It's not just me. Considering they live in, like, sub-zero temperatures, absolute freezing conditions, some of the most hospitable, or some of the, basically, least habitable places on the planet. And they're still there. They're just like, yo, I'm a penguin. Waddle, waddle. Ducks as well. Ducks are pretty happy. They're laid back. Basically, anything that waddles seems pretty happy most of the time. Maybe you should start waddling around. Might make you happier. Yeah, definitely could see that happening. Either that or people would think you're crazy. One or the other. The line between happiness and crazy, probably quite similar. Look at this little body. That looks like it could have been some kind of monstrous penguin. Like, look at that head. Could have been a giant penguin? Probably not, but maybe. We'll never know. We never saw it alive. There's also other skeletons around here. That just looks a bit crazy. Where's some more skeletons? Let's try and find some. There's a good one. Just some kind of tusker. Still looking. Still looking. Skeletons, 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 skeletons. Have I missed any? Yep, there's another one. That one's quite cool. Any more? Gotta check around, trying to find cool things. Anyway, enough of that. Reaper opening is coming down from LucifroN. This is a good way to open up against Protoss. The reason being, you get scouting information. There's a nice little amount of cliff area to utilize here to just bounce up. It also means that without Mothership Core or a Stalker out, that Reaper can come and pick off some probes and it just generally be a bit of a pain in the backside. But not too much really in concern about what could be happening. For the most part, I'm actually quite happy with how this game's going for these two players. They're just both playing a relatively macro orientated for the moment. Stardust with the 4 workers in gas just means that he can start up the Mothership Core and Warp Gate Tech and the Stalker all pretty quickly. The Mothership Core not yet starting, but probably will be up on the cards fairly soon. The Stalker getting chrono boosted out means that this Reaper gonna have a bit of a bad time. The Reaper literally gonna pop in as this Stalker does hit the field. So may get one probe if it's lucky, but if it got a probe, it would have died in the process. So forced to retreat out, gets pretty low. We've got another Stalker following that up. Note the Mothership Core still has not been started yet for Stardust. He's just saving his money and gas up for something else. And what is that something else going to be? Well, for the moment, we don't know. He's got getting close to 200 gas, so he's got a decent amount there. Has expanded. We do need to see some tech relatively quickly from him. Otherwise, this gas mine is not that efficient. There's not much of a benefit to it. Now, Stalker is waddling its way across. Waddling more. Stalker's still staying up here because the reason the Stalker's staying here rather than moving out is because it's defending the probe line. If it moves out, the Reaper can just run straight past it and kill some probes, so it's staying back defensively. We've got the Mothership Core and the Sentry now on their way out, so that's where some of the gas is going. We've also got some Widow Mines getting produced. Now, this is quite interesting because there isn't a starport yet. And as I say that, it gets slowed down. With the starport coming down, this is good times because it means that obviously you can go for the 4 Marine, 2 Widow Mine drop, you can deal some nice damage. Widow Mine's one-shot any gateway unit and also deal good damage to probes, so very solid there. The other thing that's worth noting though is that this is going to be a bit of a bumpy build order, if I'm honest. It's not as clean as it could be because the Widow Mines are coming out soon. If it was for the drop play, which it probably will still be at some point, or could still be at some point, it wouldn't be ideal because obviously you want the second Widow Mine popping as the medevac finishes. But for the moment, the Widow Mine is just being used defensively. We've got the natural base floating down. Meanwhile, we do of course have the Nexus finishing at the natural base there for Stardust. Now, Stardust going for the double forge, very early double upgrades. Okay, this is his play. Is some kind of timing off of upgrades because he's got no other tech, no additional gateways, just 1-1. That is a very informed decision getting 1-1 this early at about 6:45. He's going to have a very powerful army. going to be going up quite effectively. He's also being forced though to get down a photon cannon, and this is a smart move. He hasn't actually seen yet that there is that factory, but Widow Mines always are going to be a possibility. It's easy to drop on this map because of all the dead space coming through, and so this just makes him safe from both drops and Widow Mine drops, and that's really intelligent. It's good play. Twilight Council will get scouted by the scan. That's a little bit frustrating. So will one of the forges. Did the other forge get seen by LucifroN? Because if it, yeah, it did. Both forges seen, and that Twilight Council, that scan, absolutely on the money. Note we've also got a tech lab coming down here on both the factory and also here on the starport. Now the one on the factory is probably going to get switched, the stim can get started, but we've got to move out now, and this is going to be quite good. The Marines can poke up into the front where there isn't really too much. They don't have stim though, so they've got to be a little bit careful. Meanwhile, the Widow Mine and Marines can come up into the main base. This is just splitting around where Stardust has got to defend. Simultaneously though, there's the Hussein Phoenix coming in, just getting some scanning information. These Stalkers are a little bit out of position. They're going to run up here, and with the second Widow Mine, the first one down there, they can pick off a Stalker very easily. A probe gets taken down, good control there by Stardust, but unfortunately, these forges are probably about to get unpowered, and well, that just means the upgrades, the 1-1 upgrades that were so critical to what Stardust was trying to do, suddenly not in the mix. Now, this Widow Mine, who's going to detonate on it? Does detonate on the Stalker. Good little hit there. More pylons coming down, double pyloning there, making sure the forge stays up. But LucifroN, with just a very small number of units, is causing quite a lot of crowd. The photon cannon definitely going to help defend against this. The Stalker needs to stay up, though, as best as possible. A couple of probes are getting knocked out. Because the fact 1-1 got delayed, though really Stardust isn't going to be too happy about it. He wants to try and keep that as long as possible. Moving up further though, we've got a couple more probes getting taken out. We've got the Stalkers still bouncing around. The Nexus got a couple of shots off there. Nexus cannon has now depleted though, so without the photon overcharge, these Marines can have a bit more of a party. The sentries have to be very cautious. 1-1 though is now done. Charge is also on its way down, plus some additional gateways. That's going to take Stardust only up to the 5 gates, but he's also got that robotic facility now starting up. Marines still playing a good game, do get another sentry. Note that these two Widow Mines are doing an amazing job because there's no robotic facility apart from one on it's in production now. So taking out these Widow Mines is ridiculously difficult to do. Probe should get focused if it can, but no, it doesn't. The Stalker still gets taken out though. That's frustrating. Another sentry gonna try and get killed, doesn't go down though. The photon overcharge and the mothership of course stay up, but still no answer to these two Widow Mines. Admittedly, they're on cooldown for the moment, but generally for LucifroN, that was an effective push. He killed 9 workers. In terms of resources lost, he lost about 125 less resources, and he's been mining more behind this, and he's had no threats coming in. The only downside for really LucifroN in that engagement was actually 1-1's now kicked in already for Stardust. So Stardust has the option, or has the upgrade lead for the time being. +1 infantry rep, it's only just now starting for LucifroN. So 2-2 if chrono boosts are good on those forges, it's going to be done before LucifroN even has 1-0. But pressure is coming in. Because of the investment in the upgrades in the tech, there's less standing army. LucifroN has more stuff out, and stuff is good against less stuff, generally speaking. And that means this Nexus is under a bit of problems. One of those Widow Mines gets taken out, another one goes down too. There's a lot of Zealots here, and with 1-1 and charge, that means they can close up these distances. The Marauders not looking too good, they're forced to pull back. With the 2 medevacs, more units getting rallied across the map. Note a 3rd CC just getting started up now too. We've got the 2nd engineering bay and the army ready to start 2-1 upgrades, but 2-2 still getting chrono boosted out. Once that kicks in, suddenly Stardust has got a nice little upgrade lead. Really solid. You've got to keep that Nexus though. That goes down, that's problems. The charge shots are able to tank up a lot of damage and deal out a good amount of damage. Because of charge, able to close up the distance and really dish that out. So it is looking quite good for the time being. LucifroN once again being forced to retreat. A couple of feedbacks go down. All the medevacs nicely done, preventing the healing. Can the Stalkers pick off that last medevac, preventing the retreat completely? Hopefully they can. There's an Archon walking in too, and all of this push now cleaned up. The 2-2 upgrades are on their way down, and they're very close to being finished. Just 1 medevac there. Meanwhile, the proxy pylon equals a couple of High Templar and a couple of Zealots warping in. This is most likely going to be an Archon and a couple of Zealots just ready to make their way forward. There's not too much in terms of defense here. More units making their way across for Stardust, who's taking his 3rd Nexus. 2-2, 10 seconds away from completion. Look at how refined this is. This push hitting exactly when 2-2 is going to finish up. +1 infantry weapons is done for LucifroN, but it's 2-2 up against 1-0. That's not a good position to be in terms of upgrades, and definitely going to be really solid there for Stardust to try and put on a lot of pain with the Archons, with the charge gods. This is a good kind of mid-game push coming out. With the third base, though, it's not an all-in from Stardust either. He's just identifying the hang on my opponent, not looking that good at the moment. Stardust is only up by 10 army supply with this next wave of warpins, but he can still try and apply a bit more pressure. Coming in from the side, Stardust is going to move up in towards the natural base, and the units spread out quite substantially. The Zealots getting a good surround on that infantry. The bunker goes down. Suddenly, SCV's being forced to pull, but of course, 2-2 Zealot's going to tear through a lot. They can tank up so much damage as well, and with the plus to attack, the Archons dish out a lot of hurt too, doing a nice little bit of splash damage there to all the infantry. Meanwhile, SCV's getting annihilated everywhere. LucifroN GG's out, and Stardust wins the game in just a very refined build. So, good defense by Stardust there. LucifroN tried to put on the hurt early, but Stardust just holding it off, getting a good upgrade lead, able to seal the deal. So congratulations to him. Of course, if you enjoyed the game, make sure that you like the video, that you leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with another new cast, so I'll see you all then. Bye for now.